Welcome to Mainstream Current. I'm Drew Hoagland, and today we're not just starting a new episode, but also entering a thrilling new chapter of this channel. While more will be revealed about this exciting transition in due time, for now, I'm thrilled to introduce you to a fresh and ambitious project. Yes, I did script some of this. I scripted the opening because I don't want to ramble. There's a time and place for that, but for now, I did script it. Let me know what you think down below. Like it, hate it, let me know. Maine, a state celebrated for its breathtaking landscapes and dynamic communities, is also the stage for a myriad of government officials, each contributing uniquely to our state's governance. In our latest series on Mainstream Current, more on that later, we'll take a deep dive into the lives, careers, and policies of those pivotal figures, commencing with a focus on local representation. My inaugural focus is going to be on David Boyer, the state representative from Poland, Maine. Boyer has distinguished himself with a groundbreaking approach to politics, particularly with his innovative to conduct a survey to understand the viewpoints of his constituents. This effort not only underscores his commitment to the people, but also represents a model for proactive public engagement. But our exploration extends far beyond a single individual. We will traverse the entire political landscape of Maine, spotlighting key figures like Governor Janet Mills, Senator Susan Collins, and Senator Angus King, among many others. Each episode is designed to offer a unique perspective on their journeys, achievements, and the influence they wield in shaping Maine. Whether you're deeply engaged with Maine's political narrative or simply intrigued by the stories of those steering our state, this series is set to be enlightening, revealing, and utterly captivating. Join us on Mainstream Current as I unfold the stories of Maine's key government figures, one episode at a time. Don't miss out on this journey. Make sure to like, share, subscribe to Mainstream Current. Together, let's uncover the voices and visions that are crafting Maine's futures. So today we are looking at David Boyer, a dedicated public servant hailing from Poland, Maine. From policy advocacy to a legislative role, let's uncover the story of this influential leader. David Boyer's career in politics began with a strong focus on policy advocacy. Before stepping into the Maine House of Representatives, Boyer was deeply involved in various influential roles. He owned DB Consulting and played a pivotal role as the Maine political director of the Marijuana Policy Project, contributing significantly to cannabis policy. Boyer's expertise in campaign management was evident when he led Eric Brakey's 2018 U.S. Senate campaign and served as the executive director of the Defense of Liberty, PAC. Transitioning from advocacy to a more direct political role, Boyer was elected to the Maine House of Representatives. Representing the Republican Party, he won the general election on November 8, 2022 to represent District 87, including Mechanic Falls and part of his hometown, Poland. He assumed office on December 7, 2022, and is serving a term that extends until December 4, 2024. In his current role, Boyer serves on the 131st Legislature's Joint Standing Committee on Veterans and Legal Affairs. His life outside politics is just as vibrant. He operates an antique dealership and is actively involved with the Sportsman Alliance of Maine, Maine Organic Farmers and Gardeners, the Androscoggin Land Trust, and Ellie's Legacy Animal Foundation. An Eagle Scout, Boyer's interests extend to outdoor activities like foraging, hiking, skiing, and enjoying live music events. David Boyer's path in politics is a testament to his dedication to advocacy, campaign management, and legislative responsibility. His diverse experience and commitment to community engagement in Maine is truly commendable. So that wraps up the overview of David Boyer's political journey. He is multifaceted career in business, politics, and community service illustrate his unwavering dedication to the people of Maine. So you might be wondering why I'm bringing up David Boyer. Well, it's because he decided to have an innovative, I call it innovative because I don't see it, I haven't seen it anytime else, an innovative idea to send out a survey to question his constituents as to how we're feeling. That is innovative nowadays. I'm not even being sarcastic. No one else does this. So the fact that he is doing it, bravo. I am in agreement that having a survey be an innovative idea is a little nuts. That being said, am I alone in having not received anything similar to this in the past? And I've been pretty politically aware, at least since 2020, but even before that, maybe going back as far as 2016, 2017, probably, I would say. So I have paid attention to politics, and this kind of thing doesn't happen often, which is nuts. Because as a constituent, I do want my leader to understand what I'm feeling and where I'm at. Not necessarily personally and as an individual, but as a community as a whole. And it seems like unless we're voting, that's the only time our voice is heard. And I'm over that. I'm so over that. We can vote with our dollar bills. You don't shop at a certain company, or you don't buy from a certain distributor or from a certain company. We can shut them down. We can cost them billions of dollars. So remember that. We the people have the power. So I've read a little bit about David's history. I want to get into what his survey says, because it's only going to come out to a certain area because it does fall into Mechanic Falls in Poland. So not many people are going to see this. That being said, this is something that should be seen and should be widespread. So let's get into it. Dear friends and neighbors, the work of the 131st legislative session was extended to July 26th before finally adjourning. This was 35 days beyond the statutory adjournment date of June 21st. Unfortunately, the minority party had no way to stop the session from going so deep into the summer beyond the statutory adjournment date. The $10.3 billion budget approved by the majority of the legislature increased spending by roughly 20% from the governor's proposed budget in 2021. My biggest disappointment is that with billions of dollars in excess tax revenue, the legislature did not pass structural income tax reform to let taxpayers keep more of what they earn. I am also disappointed that the legislature did not address the key issue of skyrocketing electric bills. On a positive note, the legislature did begin tackling some of the funding issues plaguing Maine's roads, bridges, and transportation infrastructure by passing LD 259. The new law creates a sustainable source of funding for the highway fund by dedicating 40% of the 5.5% sales tax on vehicle purchases and 40% of sales and use taxes collected by the Bureau of Motor Vehicles. It is expected to generate more than $200 million for infrastructure repairs per biennium, meaning every 2 years. The last couple of years, Maine has experienced an extraordinary amount of changes. I hope things will return to normal as soon, as many families are experiencing difficult times. As your representative, I did my best to focus on the merits of bills, not the party affiliation of those proposing them. I am always concerned with whether or not legislation will make life harder or easier on the people back home. Inside, please find more details about the first session of the 131st Legislature, along with a short link to a short online survey of opinion on important policy questions. You can sign up for my weekly e-letter at mainehousegop.org. Please feel free to contact me if you have questions on how I voted on any of the items highlighted in this report or other legislation this past session. I continue to appreciate the feedback, advice, and support I have received from the people I represent. It is an honor to serve as your state representative. Best regards, David Boyer. Right there, that makes him so much more relatable than literally anyone else in the representatives. I mean, Susan Collins doesn't have time. Why not? Maybe she does for Aroostook County, for her hometown, but like, why don't we get these? Like Senator Angus King, Senator Susan Collins. Ask us how we're feeling, because it's not great and we do want to have a say. And on that note, you don't take away we the people's say, because we the people have the power. So politicians need to remember that. I'm just gonna read over this all because then it'll give other people an idea. And for those watching outside of the US, this is also something for you to consider. And it doesn't even need to be a large area. What if it was just your town, your block, your community, your whatever? You get together, start polling each other, start having surveys. This is literally, I've had this idea. I've written up some surveys. I have not distributed them. David beat me to this. Well done. And more like this is on the way, and you ought to start expecting it, and you ought to start demanding it. You don't need to ask, demand. We the people with the power. So Maine House update, 131st Maine Legislature, first regular session and first special session. Fighting high energy costs. Energy costs have skyrocketed in Maine. This is no small part due to costs put on ratepayers to subsidize large-scale solar-powered generation and the statutory prioritization of quickly reaching renewable energy goals rather than ensuring the flow of consistent and affordable electricity. I support legislation that would reform subsidies, shore up supply resiliency and capacity, increase pricing transparency, and start to correct the state's procurement and generation priorities. Tax relief. Inflation and high cost mean it's more important than ever for Mainers to keep more of their hard-earned money in their pockets. With the major obligations of state government covered and continued revenue surplus, I support structural tax reform to end the overcollection of taxes and provide relief for Maine people. From restructuring the income tax and increasing deductions on retirement earnings to expanding exemptions and limiting unchecked state spending, I remain committed to reducing your growing tax burden. Yes. Working overtime, I talk to people, not just in my business, in my work site. I talk to people that are pulling overtime at convenience stores, at BJ's, at retail, wherever it is. And they're working overtime to try and make more money, but somehow taxes always get more than they should, and we're left with far less than we should. We're working overtime, giving up our days off, our time with children, pets, lifestyles, in order to try and get ahead, and somehow the government still has their slimy little hands in the pot, and they're pulling out as much as they can. It is disgusting. And we the people have the power. Let's take it back. Advocating for responsible spending. Single-party rule in Augusta has led to an unorthodox budget process in multiple majority budgets. There have been multiple areas of bipartisan spending agreement. This includes supporting hospitals and long-term care facilities, including nursing homes. Janet Mills, you're always taking money from the senior citizens in nursing homes. Stop. Stop that. It's not good. You're a senior citizen. Stop that. Stop. Working to stabilize highway and road funding, and improving the efficient and effective delivery of government services. There is a lot of work to be done, and I will continue to advocate for a government that doesn't spend beyond its means and provides value to the people who fund its operations. Kind of like common sense. A family doesn't spend beyond their means, without going into debt, without having things come due, without having to make shifts and priority changes. Also, hardworking families have to account for every single dollar, every single penny. Why don't you, government, state of Maine, United States of America, Biden, I want a list of how you're spending our money. I want to know exactly how it's spent, including the money going overseas. That's our money. I want to know how other people in other countries are spending it to attack other people in other countries on this globe. I want to know how our money, that is my footprint. You, Biden, you, Janet Mills, answer to us, we, the people. You've forgotten that. That's not a question. You have forgotten that. And it's time to wake up and get out of the delusions and to come to the working class people, because we are the ones ultimately in control, and you have disgraced, disgusted, and disturbed us. And that is no longer happening. We are rising. The silent majority is coming alive. Silent majority. Silent, no longer, still the majority. You're gonna hear from us, and you're not gonna like it if you continue down the vein you're going. So I suggest listening to your constituents. Take this to heart. Listen to your constituents, because we are pissed. Politicians is such a slimy word. Like, if I were to get involved in the government, to be a government official, I would not want to be known as a politician. That word is slimy, and it's disgusting, and it's gross, and it conjures up all kinds of nasty images. Lurking in the shadows, stealing from the working class people. Getting involved in the government is a noble cause. You are a public servant. So if we could get back to that, then yes, being a politician in that term would be worth it. But right now, politician is smeared with dinosaurs that are crusted, that are busted, that are out of control and do not speak for you or I. And to be honest, if you're from Bangladesh and I'm here in Maine, you and I have more in common than the people ruling us. There are more people that are advocating for community members getting on board, and I think David Boyer is one of them. So not all of them. There are places around the globe where there are small grassroots initiatives busting up through the soil. But you from Bangladesh or from Sudan or wherever you're from, you and I have more in common by like 80% than the elite ruling class. We share nothing in common with them. Maybe DNA. That's about all. Other than that, our perspectives, our worldviews, our labor ethics, our understanding of suffering, it's all different. It's all different. So it's time for a change. It's time to do something different, and David Boyer is on it. He's collecting a survey, and I will have that link to the survey down below. Of course, only do it if you're within Mechanic Falls or Poland. Poland and Mechanic Falls, they're the ones that are being polled. I do want to bring light to this, but if you want to be involved in something like that, start getting your politicians, those slimy bastards, to do something. Start petitioning them. Hell, do it yourself. Get a group of people together. Start doing it. No one's stopping us. Freedom is not free. You have to fight for freedom. But freedom is what we all deserve. Every single human being across the globe. And having been an individual that has traveled to 10 other countries in the span of my life, I have met every variance of people across the globe. We are all alike. Not the ruling class. They're a different breed. There's something not right, but everyone else. We want love. We don't want war. We are not racist. We're not all these phobias. Of course those things exist, but not on the scale that they are said to be. That is a lie, and it's deadly. Second session preview. 334 bills from the first regular session and first special session have been carried over in committees for consideration in the second regular session. An additional 149 bills on the special appropriations tables, bills passed but not funded, the special table or tabled in the House or the Senate. This is an addition to any emergency bills approved for the second session. Notable legislation. Sponsored bills passed by Representative David Boyer. LD 834, an act to ensure transparency in the labeling of meat as grass-fed, prohibits beef sold in Maine as grass-fed from being grain finished. So if it says grass-fed here in Maine, it must mean grass-fed, no grain, or not grain finished. LD 1357. An act to impose an expanded prohibition on lobbying for former executive branch employees. Requires former executive branch employees and regulators to wait 1 year before being authorized to lobby at the State House. I support that. It should not be that you get into politics and that's a door into something else, which is a door into MSNBC. Shouldn't be that way. LD 555, LD 832, LD 1103, and LD 1311, Medical and Adult Use Cannabis Legislation, reformed Maine's cannabis laws and restored civil liberties for patients and consumers. There are 3 questions here. What should be the top priorities of the Maine legislature in the second regular session? 2. How would you rate your overall satisfaction with the operation of state government? From highly dissatisfied to highly satisfied. 3. How would you rate your overall satisfaction with the operation of the Maine legislature? Highly dissatisfied or highly satisfied? It does say the top priorities, and there is a space to handwrite in more. So maybe I'll leave a handwritten note in there. That being said, I am going to use this video as a branching off point to potentially try and interview Representative David Boyer. This is a very public call out. I'm going to talk to him. And even if he doesn't, that's fine. It doesn't mean that I'm not going to look into people and get to the bottom of how they think and what they're about and the history behind them, why they got into politics, and maybe even beyond what they're planning to do after. Because politics should not be a road to further politics, to further politics, to further politics, to die. Life is meant to be lived, and public servants should not be public servants forever. But government officials are public servants, so they're not meant to be forever. And seeing as David Boyer has a lot going on outside of his representing the state, I dare say that he's gonna do just that. That if we the people keep trying to get a particular person back, that's different. But if a particular person just keeps coming back and we the people have to decide, like, get out of here. But maybe there isn't any other option. That's why we need to create other options. That's why we need to be the other options. If you look around and you see something bad happening and you're waiting for somebody to do something, maybe that somebody is you. And I think that's a good note to end on. I wanted to introduce David Boyer. I wanted to get to know him a little bit more. I wanted to promote the survey. And I just wanted to get the idea that we the people across the globe, regardless of whether you're American or not, freedom is for everyone. But freedom has to be fought for. You can't just roll over and get freedom. That's not how it works. I'm not calling violent revolutionary action. I'm saying that every day you get up and you go to work and you pay taxes and those taxes are taken from you and you come home and you have to do it all over again. That's fighting. Like, that's a fight. You wake up and you're just like, again? I have to do this again? And then I know I have to do it again and again and again. That's a fight. So if we're gonna fight anyway, let's fight for something that matters. Fight for freedom. I am a full supporter of freedom. And it is deserved by everyone. Every human being across the globe deserves freedom. My freedom-loving friend, I hope you found this video captivating. I am trying to get your viewership to stay. Retaining viewership is hard, but I don't want to be a TikTok channel. I'm not trying to just spit out little clickbaity facts and things. The research that I've done, that I'm collecting for you, that I'm doing for me, but also for you. We're a community, all 2,100 of us. Like, we're awesome. Like, that's an incredible number, especially for being such a young channel. And it's only going to increase. And with your likes, your shares, your comments, those things really matter. So shout out to you. Look into your local representative. If you're from Maine and you want somebody covered, let me know. I'll happily do that. I would probably get around to that individual anyway, but let's just straight to the top with it. Let me know. And honestly, if you're from another country and you just want some kind of idea about maybe where to go from your perspective, from somebody else's perspective, I'm happy to help out with that. I don't know everything, and I'm sure I know very little about your country, the politics and the sphere, but also we're all human, and the plights that we face are pretty universal. So we the people, together, we can do this. So until next time, I hope you found this video enlightening, and I look forward to seeing you back. Freedom loving friend, until next time.